The government of Saudi Arabia unveiled plans in 2021 for the city of Neom, including a megastructure called the Line, a massive mega-project. Is to be an entire city composed of two parallel line infrastructure, 200-meter wide and 170-kilometer long structure of tall buildings. Height of each 500 meter, higher than most of skyscrapers in the world, like Eiffel Tower, World Trade Center, Shanghai Tower. This humongous mega-project is looking far away from the reality, as only 12 tallest buildings with 500-meter plus height exist so far in the world, and building 4,000 such skyscrapers looking something impossible. So why? Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman announced approximately so insane? Can this really achievable? Or, it's just the icing on the top for seeking world's attention? As climate changes rapidly advances in many Middle Eastern states which urge the need of transition from carbon-based oil economies to alternatives that attracts people around the world for tourism, business, work or to live. One such example is a development known as Neom City, meaning new future, in Saudi Arabia. The entire zone for the Neom development is set up in an area called Tabuk. Basically, Neom consists of three main mega-projects. First is Oxygen, which enabling your journey to advanced and clean industries, and a hub for innovation, enabled by an humongous automated port integrated with a smart supply chain network. Then comes the mountains of Neom, which comedy under Trajena 50 kilometers from the coast, is a unique region of year-round seasonal delights, such as skiing in winter and hiking in summer, as well as next-level hospitality and indulgence. It has the vault, the lake, and sky village. Here comes the third mega-project, which is the Line, probably the most public and heavily market part of the Neom developments. Why it gains so much hype? It's basically a line cutting straight across a desert, with a facade made of mirrors. And you can travel from one end to the other end in just 20 minutes. It's got ultra super high speed public transit, which eliminates the need for cars and prioritizes walking. It look like metaverse project, but it is a real project. By the way, it's going to have zero carbon emissions and run on clean, renewable energy. But, is this really possible to build? Or will it ever be? They want to build a city with a 100% sustainable transport system and zero emissions. However, there is no mention of the massive carbon emission that building something like this will leave behind. Building the line would emit close to 2 billion tons of CO2, which is more than 4 years of all CO2 emissions in the UK. The promise of creating a carbon-neutral city doesn't sound too convincing when considering these immense construction emissions. The city is going to be structured on 3 different levels. At ground level, you're going to have your pedestrian zone. The second level functions as a service level with shops and other commercial spaces, and on the third level, you got your goods and transportation, and all of your daily needs can be met pretty much within a 5-minute walking distance. And there's going to be tons of parks and trees to encourage walking. The line would save humanity from this commuting nightmare, but is a rigid line really going to meet people's needs? And is this really the most conducive shape for a city? There's just a lot of questions that come up when look at this. The first one was the design's impact on the natural habitat. As construction of buildings would affect animals living there, cause migration, and some may lead to death. So is there any solution available for the life of surrounding animals? The initial estimates for this project was $500 billion, and now they're estimating at $1 trillion, and it's expected to house 9 million residents. The second question is transportation. How does this extremely long line cut transit time compare to a rectangle or a circle? The proposal relies on the super-fast transit system that's going to take you from one end to the other in just 20 minutes. That would mean that the train runs at 525 kilometers per hour. If you're not accounting for all the stops, The fastest train in the world is the Shanghai Maglev, which runs at 460 km per hour. There's also a successful examples of how transit has been incorporated into the streetscape at a fraction of the cost of these bullet trains. I feel like this design and this concept of the line is creating unnecessary issues and trying to solve that issue with expensive technology. So creating this massive 170-kilometer wall, it sounds really problematic. Also, this giant mirror of wall is going to reflect the light and it's going to create these two really hot heat zones. And it's going to fry everything around it. Not to mention birds flying into it. Saudi Arabia wants to build parts of it by 2030 and move in more than 1 million tenants. There's areas that's already finished construction, including a seaside resort, a massive development for the royal family, and an airport directly connecting to Riyadh, which is the capital of Saudi Arabia. However, while humanity has built some massive structures in some of the most difficult landscapes, their mirror line simply promises too much in too little time. Saudi Arabia's latest track record when building extraordinary skyscrapers isn't great either. Like Jeddah Tower. For now, we see the mirror line as a concept idea for different ways of living. But realistically the project is massively overscaled and faces many problems such as mentioned. It remains an impossible feat for now, and a more realistic approach would be to integrate some of these futuristic plans into Saudi Arabia's already existing cities. But what do you think about the mirror line? Could it ever be built or remain a science fiction fantasy? Tell us in comments. It's the end for now. Like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks.